Hello everyone, welcome to the Ginger Snaps Here's month of HORROR-WEEN, where I'll be discussing the Halloween franchise. I'm your host, Stephen Harold, and in today's video, we are going to get into the spoiler review for Halloween Ends. So just in case if you guys haven't seen this movie and you don't want to be spoiled or anything, I had uploaded the spoiler-free review on Friday when the movie came out. So before you even watch this video, go watch that one just to see my opinion on the film itself. Now, dabbling with the fact that I've watched this movie 2 times in theaters now, I have now differences of opinion again. And of course, as we all know, this movie is very much divided. I mean, there's a lot of people who hate this movie. There's a lot of people who love this movie. Where am I in this fucking realm? I'll let you guys know at the end of this video where I fucking stand on this film. But this is where I have to get some important things off my chest. First things first, as everyone already knows, that, with everything that has gone on with the whole fucking film, the movie being so divided, I do, personally, when it comes to this spoiler review, I don't want your guys' negativity, okay? I'm a YouTuber who essentially will push back, and I will make you famous if you decide you're gonna shit over my review, call me a fucking idiot, or anything like that whatsoever. I'm not gonna fucking tolerate it, okay? People have differences of opinion, okay? They have the right to. I mean, like, if you're a guy or a girl who loves Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, I respect your decision. I'm not a fucking fan of that movie, but I understand why you like it. Everyone has that opinion. They have that right to it. So before we even get into the spoilers, let me just lay that out right now. I'm not gonna fucking tolerate any bullshit on my fucking channel. Second thing, actually, this is actually something that is fucking wicked that actually happened at the premiere of Halloween Ends. I went to go see it with my friend Chris, and right when we walked out of there, I actually met this guy named Connor. And Connor was dressed up for the movie. He had actually walked out of it as well. I had stayed in costume the whole entire time. And just chatting with the guy was fucking amazing, because we both had the same things to say when it came to this movie when we watched it. So Connor, if you were watching this video, personally, man, it was awesome to walk into you there. It was nice to see that another person dressed up as Michael for the movie, because last year for Halloween Kills, I was the only one who dressed up for it, and I did get photos or whatnot. But yeah, thanks so much for the props. Thank you for also subscribing to the channel. And if you ever need your Halloween Kills mask ever repainted to actually look like mine, give me a shout out, and I'll make sure, we can meet up or something, and I can get that fucking mask looking a lot better for you. That's for sure. Thanks again so much, Connor, for reaching out to me, subscribing to the channel, and just having a nice little chat with me. The guy was a fucking awesome guy. Now for the spoilers. Here we go. So obviously the movie begins on Halloween night 2019. So a year after the events of what happened in Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills, we are introduced to a new character, Corey Cunningham, and he is on his way to babysit Jeremy. He is talking to the mom and the dad about this job. The mom ends up pulling him aside, saying, like, ever since the events of what happened the previous year, Jeremy has been wetting the bed and also has been hearing voices. There is your Halloween 6 nod there, guys. Finally, there is one there. And then, of course, we find out that, this kid's probably a nice little kid, right? Turns out this kid's a little shit, because he calls Corey names, calls him an ugly babysitter. He fucking even plays a trick on him. But before I even get to any more of that, this movie does a complete full circle moment. They are watching a movie on the TV, not just any movie. John Carpenter's The Thing. They're watching that movie. And if you guys remember from the first Halloween film, the people watching on TV, what were they watching? They were watching The Thing from Another World, the movie that John Carpenter was a fan of, that he ended up remaking. And now to see in Halloween Ends, they're watching John Carpenter's The Thing. We've come full circle, guys. I love that fucking little detail. It was super nice to see. But then, of course, Jeremy ends up pulling a fucking prank on Corey and locks him into the attic, and Corey's starting to get pissed off. The family, the mom and dad end up coming home, and as soon as they enter the door, fucking Corey is kicking the door, telling him, like, I'm gonna fucking kill you. And they hear that, and they wonder what the hell's going on, and then finally, Corey kicks the door open, but Jeremy was standing so fucking close to the door smashes him right in the face, And when we cut back to see the mom saying, what's going on? We see Jeremy just pancake right on the fucking floor, dying. We start the movie seeing a child die in this fucking movie. And of course, it's an accident. It wasn't even on purpose. And Corey ends up having this be the thing that changes his life forever. Then, of course, the title credits. Now, I'm going to say something a little bit here. I know a lot of people were actually pissed off about the title credits not being orange. It's not the Halloween font. Well, again, either you guys are just not fucking fans at all, or you just straight up are just shitting on the movie and saying, oh, you know, we should have had the thought even come to our head that this was not going to be the same because of the title card. Well, if you were actually a fucking fan, what would end up happening is you would have noticed that Halloween font for Halloween Ends is very similar to Halloween 3, the Season of the Witch film. And ironically enough, that was the one true last film that John Carpenter was associated with when it came to the Halloween franchise, even making the score with Alan Howarth. And ironically enough, this is the last film, the third of a trilogy in the Blumhouse films for Halloween. So, of course, they paid tribute to Halloween 3 in this, with its title crawl even being vastly different like how Halloween 3 was. What was the main thing that Halloween 3 was getting all the flack for? Was the fact that there was no Michael Myers. It's a different story. This movie is similar, but this time, there's barely any fucking Michael in this movie, and it's a different fucking thing compared to Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills. Blumhouse knew what they were doing. Even Jamie Lee Curtis saying, people are going to be pissed. She was right. And these guys knew they were going to be pissed because we're going to change it. And that's what they decided to do. And of course, when everyone sits there and says, like, this movie's absolute dog shit and they think it's fucking bullshit and sucks, obviously never watched Halloween 3. And if you did see Halloween 3 and you said it sucked, and then you watched this, and then even dared to say, I'm going to watch Halloween 3 just to get the bad taste of Halloween Ends out of my mouth, you're not a true fucking fan. I'm just going to say it right off the fucking bat. But I love that this movie has a parallel to Halloween 3. Yes, originally, I wanted Halloween 3 to be canon. I wanted Michael's mask to be a silver shamrock mask. But I didn't get it. It was the one thing that was a letdown. But then watching the movie again to see the Halloween 3 overtones to this, I was even more happy. I was like, you know what? This movie is the Halloween 3 of 2022. This is going to be the movie that is reviled, hated on for so long until later on in the next 40 fucking years, it's going to become a cult classic. And I cannot fucking wait to see all the people say, you know what? Halloween Ends is actually not that bad. It's actually fucking good. Yeah, I can't wait for that time to even fucking happen. We then cut to a monologue with Laurie talking about the events that happened in 1978, 2018, and she essentially then gives us the exposition that Michael has never been caught, and his evil, the acts that he has caused a ripple effect on the town of Haddonfield. Everyone is living in fear. The evil is still out there, like crimes are going up, and then everyone's just blaming Michael for it, but no one has seen Michael. Like, there's even a scene where 2 people got shot in the head, and an officer says, do you think he's come back? And Hawkins says, Michael doesn't use guns. And it's like, it's true. It's like, well, fuck, of course. Like, Michael doesn't use guns, so now everyone's using him as a scapegoat. And then there's even someone who commits suicide. So, you guys remember when the movie came out and they said, we're going to have a 4-year gap, and also we're going to have some pandemic overtones. Essentially, the evil that Michael has protrude onto the town of Haddonfield is the pandemic. Michael is the pandemic in this fucking movie. Everyone is living in fear. And essentially, this movie also brings out the evil in most people when it comes to the town of Haddonfield. She even lives with Allison. Like, Allison's also trying to get her life together. And Rob Zombie, if you want to make a trauma person, like, grow into, like, a goth kind of girl, this is how you fucking do it. You make her obviously dress a little bit darker, but she's still spunky. She's still kind of herself, but dealing with the effects of what happened and still dealing with the uncertainty of if Michael's ever going to come back. Not making her a meth addict who essentially is obsessed with Charles Manson. Yeah, above her fucking bed. What a dumb fuck. But Allison is also fucking amazing in this goddamn movie. You spend a lot of time with her, especially when she grows this relationship with Corey Cunningham in the movie. She even says it too, and Corey even exchanges with her after this Halloween party where the mother meets Corey again and then ridicules him. Allison is trying to like get him to have a good time, but he even says it to her. Everyone looks at you as a survivor. Everyone looks at me as a monster. She essentially is the Laurie Strode, while Corey Cunningham unceremoniously becomes the Michael. And it's a foreshadowing of things to come at this rate, because essentially when Michael disappeared, the town of Haddonfield couldn't deal with the fact that he's gone. So when Corey accidentally kills Jeremy, they made Corey the new boogeyman of Haddonfield. He is ridiculed left, right, and center. People give him dirty looks. He is bullied by high school band members. Like, even like people at his work are just giving him shit or whatever. No one gives him the time of day to give him some kind of closure. Let him be himself. Like, okay, maybe it's an accident. They don't want to fucking hear it. They're like, no, you're obviously just like Michael. And only Laurie is the only one, and Allison is the only one who sees the good in him. I mean, there's his mom too, but his mom's a bitch. But essentially, Corey, Allison, and Laurie all have something connected with each other. The town of Haddonfield has turned their back on them. They blame Laurie and Allison for what Michael did in 2018. And then what happened with Corey in 2019, they blame him for that, and he's now the new boogeyman of Haddonfield. And they are all ridiculed. They're practically pariahs when it comes to the town of Haddonfield. Haddonfield has essentially become the main villain of this movie. If you notice it, a lot of people who die in this movie deserve to die in a way. It's fucking weird. Corey ends up running into the bullies again on the bridge after he leaves the party. He then fucking gets thrown over the bridge, and that's when Michael pulls him into the sewer, and that's where we learn that Michael has been living this whole entire time. And there's someone on the comments, I remember in the fan group, who was just giving me shit about, like, in the last 4 fucking years, how did no one see Michael in a sewer? I don't know, but when I gave him my answer, he couldn't accept it. So what was my answer? It's like, because the script called for it. If someone saw him, there would be no movie. That simple. It's like John Carpenter when people ask him, so why does Michael know how to drive? He simply says, because I wrote it in the fucking script. Like, stop with the fucking deep analogies with this. It's just something, whatever. But you see this scene in which I always wanted to see from the trailer where Michael grabs Corey by the throat. And I wanted to see what happens with that exchange. To see that Michael entices the evil to be awakened inside Corey. And you see this flip, this switch that turns on in Corey as soon as he's no longer in Michael's grasp anymore. There's a homeless guy outside that threatens him. Like, he even says, like, he has pulled many people out of there and they've never come out. How come he let you live? And tells him to go in there and grab his mask. And then Corey kills him. Now, for the people who don't fucking remember, the main influence for this fucking movie was John Carpenter's Christine. What happened in the movie Christine? Well, it's about a car, a 1957 Plymouth Fury that has evil inside it. And it has killed anyone who has ever been inside of the car. Until one day, Arnie Cunningham, well, that last name sounds familiar, don't it? Sees the car and obsesses over it. And then the more time he spends with the car, the more his personality changes. Now, Arnie was a nerd. He was just a guy that was just never taken seriously. But he was a good kid until Christine enticed him to turn evil at this rate. And then his personality changed. He was no longer someone that was likable anymore. He was essentially a tragic person who has been induced to an evil state because of the car. Just like how Michael enticed the evil inside of Corey and then his personality changed. This movie references Christine quite a bit. And the fact that no one has even noticed it yet baffles me. They saw a trailer. They probably saw the second trailer, which I never saw. Because I was like, the first trailer's enough for me. And they forgot about it. They forgot this movie has Christine overtones to it. And it does. It has Christine overtones. And everything about this is practically Halloween 3 and Christine. And if you guys love Halloween 3 and you love Christine, then you should love this fucking movie. But people are shitting on it. It's just, fuck, you know, like, how did people just fucking forget? Even Laurie starts to notice that Corey has changed. He's not the same kid that she had met at the grocery store, or the convenience store, and then popped the tires off the dumb fucks, the bullies' cars or whatever. He's not the same person anymore. She looks outside her window and she sees Corey standing near a bush, and he's staring up in the window at her, just like how Michael did. And when she gets even closer to him, when he just wants to talk to Allison, she looks into his eyes and notices those are the same eyes as Michael. Like, I know that look. I've seen it before. And she goes to Lindsay and, like, tells her that. And then that's when there's an exposition dump of the Jeremy's dad, who is at the bar. And he even says, I know he was a good kid. He didn't do it on purpose. I know that for a fact. But when I looked into his eyes on the road the other day, it wasn't the same kid. Was it the town that did it, or was it always there? He was on a dark path. And that's the overtone of this movie. The fact that evil can infect anybody and change shape. It's not about Michael anymore. It's about that other people can commit heinous acts. And Corey just happened to be the perfect conduit for Michael to exploit and turn into essentially another Michael at this rate. Like I said, guys, in my spoiler review, I was going to talk about Michael. This is it. Michael is barely in this movie. He is not the focal point of this movie anymore. And that's what a lot of people are shitting on this film for. They hate the fact that Michael is not in this movie. But like I said, Blumhouse and David Gordon Green were smart about this. That's why they showed Michael a lot in Halloween Kills, because they knew this third film, he's not going to be the main focal point anymore. He's not. And when we see Michael, he's in this weakened state. Like, there's the cop that chases Corey into the sewer, which, by the way, a lot of people probably didn't notice this, but that cop, the cop, what's his face? What's his fucking name? Doug. Did you know his last name? It's Doug Mulaney. This is the same kid who picked on fucking Lonnie Elam in 1978 in the flashback sequence from Halloween Kills. The one that says, you should never fuck with the Mulaney's. That's the same kid. He has grown up to be a cop. Fuck, man, that sucks. But then when we see him get into an interaction with Michael, Michael's in a weakened state. Like, he does not look the best. I mean, like, he's so weak. Something's wrong with him. Over the years has not been good for him for the past 4 years, obviously. But until Corey entices him to, like, stab him, he slices his throat, he stabs him, and then you see Michael, as soon as he stabs him, he's standing straighter, and then he starts convulsing, and the evil has been regenerated inside of him. And then he starts stabbing him more and more, and each stab wakens the evil inside of him to the point where he is getting stronger. So now he's going to use Corey as a fucking beacon to get people to him so he can kill, so he can be stronger. That's why they essentially team up at this rate. It even shows in the scene where it's the doctor and the nurse who, you know, clearly has been fucking the doctor to get that fucking promotion, unlike Allison. And she hears a noise, and the second time I noticed it, the first time I didn't. When she enters the pool area, if you just quite pay attention to where they were sitting, where Corey and the doctor were sitting, you could see in the darkness, Corey is stabbing the fucking doctor. In the darkness, it's like a blink and you'll fucking miss it. But I love that fucking subtlety. It was like the second time I noticed it. The second time watching it, I noticed it. I was like, oh fuck, yeah, you can see it. But then she turns the lights on. You see Corey stabbing the shit out of this doctor. She makes it inside. She's about to call the police, and then she notices that Corey has stopped trying to break in, and Michael comes out from a closet area and then grabs her throat with the hand that is missing the 2 fucking fingers, and like pushes her up against the fucking wall, lifts her up so he's getting his strength back. And then I'm assuming what happened with the blood of the doctor being on Corey's hands and him touching the window, enticing that the blood, the evil that he has committed, is now being transferred to Michael at this rate. And then Michael lifts her up even more higher, pins her to that fucking wall, the classic 1978 kill with Bob. And he looks at her and tilts his head. You got the classic thing. I didn't mind this scene at all. I thought, as a Halloween fan, Michael having a partner in crime, that does not sound right. I mean, like, this is like H6 vibes with the Cult of Thorn. But because of the story that they're telling, this actually made so much fucking sense to me. And I was like, you know what? I'm actually enjoying this. This is actually fucking cool. Allison and Corey are having this love relationship, obviously, with each other. But then, you know, she and Corey are now starting to think of just leaving the town of Haddonfield. I mean, they run into Willie the Kid, the radio guy, and he even bashes the both of them too. And they make that choice. They're going to leave Haddonfield, but Lori doesn't want Allison to leave because she sees something in him that reminds her of Michael. Now, there's a scene in which Corey was kicked out of his house from his fucking mom, who's one of the most annoying characters. And he's at the house where the boy died. It's abandoned and everything. And Lori is talking to him. And I love this so fucking much. She essentially throws out another John Carpenter reference. John Carpenter has said in so many interviews before, if you're sitting around a campfire and you're telling the story of where's evil, where's the location of it, there's 2 choices. There's 2 ways. One of them is the evil's out there. It's in the dark. It's the thing that haunts the tribe. And then the other story is the same thing, same setting, campfire, and the wise man talking to the kids, and he says, actually, the evil's in here. It's in our own human hearts. Lori essentially tells Corey about the 2 different types of evil, the evil that's out there and the evil in us. And I love that she's the one that says it, because John Carpenter helped her career, and she's the one that pulls that off. That was so fucking amazing. Now, do I think she was even there at that scene? I'm still not quite sure. It seems like maybe Corey has gone crazy at this rate, but I'm pretty sure maybe she was possibly fucking there. So also, I actually have to mention this also real quick. The fact that you don't really see Lindsay in this movie, but they reference her fucking meme. Her meme is in this fucking movie. They recreated it. And also, in the same bar, we see a cameo, and it's of Nick Castle, where he flashes Corey and says, "See anything you like," a tribute to PJ Souls' line with Linda when she flashes the shapes, her boobs, and says, "See anything you like." And I was like, wow, this is amazing. I'm fucking loving this. And to see Nick Castle, not under the mask is the shape. That's amazing. I love that fucking cameo. And also, another cameo later on the scene with Corey going to the DJ's workplace. We see Diana Prince, a.k.a. Darcy the Mail Girl, from fucking Joe Bob. She's in this fucking movie. She's just a receptionist, and we see her die in the fucking movie. But that was still nice to fucking see. I'm glad they didn't like sexualize her like how they do with the Last Drive-In, but I'm glad they didn't do that with this movie. You didn't need that. But that was so fucking cool to see, guys. It was super fucking cool. Now, there is a scene that originally was like, I don't know how I feel about this. But then after watching it a second time, it's kind of funny. Corey goes into the sewer, and he says, "You have something I want." And Michael's just kind of standing there. And they get into a grappling match where he grabs Michael and Michael just shoves him onto the fucking ground. And he gets back up and he's like wrestling with fucking Michael. And I didn't know how to fucking react to that. The first time I saw it, I laughed. And then the second time I was just like, I'm okay with this. Like, if this is a reference to Halloween Resurrection, I'll take this. Whatever. And then he pulls the mask off of Michael and he takes it from me. He's like, you're just a guy in a mask. And takes the mask. And essentially, guys, this is where Corey Cunningham dresses as Michael. Almost pulls a Roy Burns from Friday the 13th Part 5 and just copies Michael. But he doesn't really copy Michael. His kills are even different than Michael's. Michael has never done these kind of kills before, where he entices the bullies to go to the junkyard, and he kills them one by one. He kills the one with the drumstick in the eye, and then the other two who hop over the fence, the one not so lucky, gets mowed down while she's on the fence, and she's pinned down. The other one, she gets a wrench, a big-ass wrench, beaten into her fucking head. It's off screen, but the payoff's still good. Whereas the main fucking bully, he's trying to get the other one free that's pinned down from the car, the truck, and also the fence. And he's like, when she asks about her other friend, he's like, oh, she's dead. And then she looks up and says, you're dead too. Because she sees Corey, but she doesn't know it's Corey. It's fucking Michael. Or I think she knows it's Corey. But before that, Corey's father or stepfather wants to know what the fuck is going on, and then he sees Corey just standing there, and then the bully shoots the father right in the head, missing Corey. So another accidental fucking death. And it's literally the one death in this fucking movie you feel bad for, because everyone liked the dad. I mean, a lot of people, like, when I went to the theater, when he gets shot, a lot of people are like, "Aww!" Like, yeah, I wanted him to fucking live too. But then the bully gets quite possibly one of the most gruesome fucking deaths in the movie. And again, straight fucking obvious Friday the 13th Part 5 vibes. He gets the blowtorch to the fucking mouth. And oh my god, if I understand why they blurred it, because if you saw it, I'm pretty sure this movie would have gotten an X rating or an NC-17 rating. But just the visual of it being blurred was good enough. It was gruesome enough as it is. And then we see this shot that we saw in that trailer where it's a Quentin Tarantino trunk shot of us looking up at Michael. And we find out that's actually Corey. And it's like, well, that looked like fucking Michael in that fucking stance. And then we see that, yeah, he stomps on her head, drives over her head, and then heads over to his house to kill his mom, which we got a lot of stills from his mom's death, but we never got to see it actually. So it's probably a deleted scene. And then that's when he makes his way to the DJ booth where, again, kills Darcy, the mail girl, and then kills the DJ by bashing his head into the turntable over and over and over again, breaking his fucking jaw, then takes the scissors and cuts his tongue off, letting it bleed out and everything. I love the fucking fact that the tongue is on the record player and it keeps spinning around and it skips the record. I fucking love that. I was like I said, a lot of the kills in this movie are so deserving. Like, you don't want these people to fucking live. You want them to die. They're just assholes. And everyone's death is just fucking brilliant. After I said the deaths are not that great, after watching it a second time, I came to appreciate the deaths. Then, of course, Corey heads to Lori's house where she's about to commit suicide, I guess, at this rate. She calls the police saying, I want to report a suicide, says the address, and then pulls out the gun. And then we don't notice it yet, but Corey has made his way into the house and then sees the splatter on the wall from the gun going off and thought that Lori committed suicide. And when he opens the door even more, that's when she's like, did you really think I'd kill myself? And she shoots him twice. And he falls over the staircase. And easy enough. A lot of people are like, well, he obviously wasn't evil enough. Exactly. Michael was so consumed with evil, and this is my only explanation for this. This is where I'm thinking in my head. The reason why Michael was able to take the shots that he has taken from 78, 2018, and kills is because of the fact that when he killed his sister in 1963 and stared into a fucking wall or out a window, that whole fucking time the evil was being intensified in him. And he has killed more people than Corey did. And the evil kept him alive to the point where he could take a knife wound. He can take a car running him over. He can survive a fire. He can survive gunshots and hell survive a mob beating. Corey, on the other hand, he wasn't at that level yet. And the 2 gunshots obviously was enough to fucking pretty much incapacitate him. But then as Allison has approached the house and Laurie has pretty much said, come on, she was going to know eventually. He says this thing where he's like, if I can't have her. Now, he says it early in the movie when they have this exchange where he's like, if I can't have her, no one can. But instead of like killing her, he stabs himself in the fucking throat. And then sets up that Laurie essentially killed him. And then Allison sees it, she flees. And when she realizes what has happened and then she fucking is just grieving at this, she notices the back door is open. And she hears someone else walking around. Michael has now come to the home. I honestly am thinking that Michael was able to see what Corey was seeing through his eyes and knew where Corey was each time. And essentially, Corey led him to Laurie, where he wanted to get his fucking revenge, obviously. And Corey is now trying to fight back, he grabs his arm as he's about to pick up the knife. Michael has already put the mask on. And then Michael kills Corey, snapping his fucking neck, killing him instantaneously. So, just to clarify, guys, Corey kills more people in this movie. Michael has only killed 3 people in this movie. He kills Doug Mulaney, he kills the redheaded nurse, and he kills Corey Cunningham. And now he's in the home of Laurie Strode. So now this is where the final showdown is about to fucking happen. The final showdown is everything I kind of expected it to be. It was like Michael having the upper hand and then Laurie having the upper hand, but Michael being so fucking weak because he hasn't killed enough people at this rate. Laurie was able to outwit him, outmaneuver him, outsmart him in a way. She fucking stabs him in the wounded hand. She fucking stabs the other hand, pins them both down to the kitchen island, drops the fridge on his fucking leg, so he's like completely fucking pinned. She even recently just like stabbed him in the fucking chest. And Michael sat up, right? And I love the fact that she essentially was smart enough to pull out another knife and stab him in the ribs, right in the lungs. So it's going to be hard for him to fucking breathe now. And then that's when she pulls the mask off. Now, I know a lot of people are bitching about the fact that Michael was unmasked again. Guys, we've practically already seen his fucking face so many times. They're not trying to hide his fucking face. They're not anymore, okay? They're just not. And Laurie gives them that monologue of like saying, I've run from you, I've chased you, I feared you, I tried to forgive you. And now I've realized, like, you have been my boogeyman my whole life, and now you're just a man who's about to stop breathing. And she slices his throat. So now he's going to bleed out from his throat being slit. But that's when, like, I was like, oh, that's it, Michael's done. And then Michael rips his fucking hand out from the being pinned from the knife and grabs Laurie by the throat. And I was like, oh, fuck, it ain't over. It ain't fucking over. He's still got some fight left. And there's, like, she sets it, like, she's, like, giving up at this, right? Like, it's the fucking ending I thought I was going to get, where it was like Michael and Laurie die together. Like, Michael manages to kill her, and then before he bleeds out, like, Allison comes in and kills him. I don't know. But I always envisioned it to be like Van Helsing going out with Dracula, like that kind of thing. Like the hero goes out with their monster, right? But Allison makes the save, breaking his fucking arm, and then they slit his fucking wrist. Michael essentially bleeds out, and for the first time since Halloween 2, not the Rob Zombie Halloween 2, that's not Michael. Halloween 2 from 1981, Michael is definitively dead in this movie. They kill Michael off in this movie. But that's not all. They take Michael, they put him on the fucking car, and essentially parade him around town. Like, like even the Sheriff Barker, I think it is. I can't remember his name. But they say, this is not how we do things. Like, it's how we do things tonight. They want the town of Haddonfield to finally heal. And the only way how they can get them to heal is to parade Michael's dead body around the fucking town. And they head to the junkyard. Now, it's foreshadowed that this metal grinding machine is going to be a factor in the movie. But oh my god, both times watching this movie, to see Michael essentially get like a hero's death in a way, like where they're carrying him up to the machine. And I love the fact that it's Laurie. They let Laurie push him into the thing. This ending, after the second time, was so emotional for me because of two reasons. One was because of the fact that I took my daughter to see the movie the second time. And this was her first horror movie to see in theaters. And it was the first Halloween movie she got to see in theaters. She was upset that Michael gets killed because she loves Michael. And I was upset for her. And then I realized I'm a Michael Myers fan too. And I was upset that Michael dies. And then not only dies, but is thrown into that metal grinding machine. And essentially is just crushed. His butt, like, this is where I said in my spoiler-free review, the balls they had to do that. Mad fucking respect. I was upset at the fact that Michael got that. Like a definitive death. But I was also relieved that Laurie is now finally given the fucking proper ending she deserved. This character has been through a lot. If you're not counting this trilogy, this 40-year timeline, you're also counting the Halloween 2. You're counting the H2O timeline. You're counting all of that. And for what they did was fucking beautiful. And then, yeah, she even explains that Michael is not getting a burial. There won't be a headstone. There's no memorial. Nothing. It's just whatever. The town is now ready to heal. Allison essentially then flees Haddonfield. She's going off to live on her own. She's got her own adventure to go through. And we see, now I didn't touch up on this, but Hawkins and Laurie essentially are developing like a relationship. There's like a flirtation with them two again. And it was so nice to see. And yeah, she like finishes her book. And then we see all the scenes. Now, this is another fucking nod to the first Halloween. You know, after Michael disappears and we see all the shots where Michael was, and you can hear his breathing, and it's like dark, it's nighttime, and it's all the shots where Michael was. You hear his breathing. In this scene, it was so fucking clever. This is how they end the movie. You see the scenes in where Michael was, but it's daytime. There's no breathing. It's a ray of hope now. Laurie has gotten rid of her boogeyman, and now she can live happily. And we see the Michael Myers mask sitting on the fucking table while Blue Oyster Cult's Don't Fear the Reaper starts to play. Guys, and that was such a good way to end the movie. And this also ultimately brings an end to my spoiler review for Halloween Ends. Like I said, guys, this movie was an emotional ride. And like I said previously, or actually I didn't say it, in case I didn't, I had watched Christine before watching Halloween Ends. And that's why I was able to understand this movie a lot better. Because when they referenced that for the first time, like, oh, it's going to take inspiration from Christine, I understood it 100%. And then watched the movie, I was like, I get it. I totally understand this movie. The fact that this movie is getting so much fucking hate now is absolutely annoying to me. And yes, it proves that a lot of Halloween fans are fucking toxic now. And especially when you go after and target other fucking people. Like, when they say, oh, I like the movie. Well, your opinion sucks. I fucking hate that. Like I said, I don't want that shit in my fucking comments. If you have the balls to put that in my comments, trust me, I'm going to make you fucking famous. I'm going to fucking make you very famous. Because when the movie becomes a cult classic, your comment's still going to be there. And everyone's going to see how much of an idiot you became later. Or how an idiot you became then. But after watching this movie again, I grew a bigger appreciation for it, and also the fact that now there's a nostalgia feeling for me. The fact that I brought my daughter to this movie, she really wanted to watch a Halloween movie in theaters, and I thought it was only fitting that the last one that we're gonna see for a while was the first one she saw. It was a nice bonding experience for her. I want to be that dad for when she grows up with and has friends and they want to go see horror movies that like, but you have to bring an adult. They bring me along because they know, oh, my dad, don't worry, my dad, he'll go to the movie. It's no problem. It's a horror movie. Other than that, with it being now nostalgic for me, I have this memory with it now. Also, the movie, now watching it for a second time, now getting the Halloween 3 reference. This movie, like I said, is the Halloween 3 of the Halloween franchise now. It's the new Halloween 3. And it's just going to get better over time. People are going to appreciate it more. And after seeing it for a second time, guys, I fucking grew to appreciate it even more. It's interesting. It's different. It's something that works within the timeline. It's something that, you know, is okay for the franchise. And this might not be someone's cup of tea. And here's the best part, guys, for all the negative people out there. If you're going to complain that there's not enough Michael, go watch Halloween Kills. Go watch any other Halloween movie. There's plenty of Michael in there. If this movie was too weird for you, those other movies exist. Just watch them. Okay? And for all those who actually like the movie and respect for what it is, then you guys are the true Halloween fans, okay? You guys are the ones I know for a fact have watched Halloween 3, have watched all of them, and understand the franchise. And this movie was obviously for you guys. This Blumhouse did a fantastic job with this trilogy. Is it one of the weaker ones? I said originally yes, but now I'm starting to think it's going to be on par with the rest of them. And also, with that being said, guys, my spoiler-free review, I gave this movie a 5.5 out of 10. It has now changed because now I really, really like this movie. So, for my new ranking, I'm going to give Halloween Ends a 7 out of 10. So guys, again, I'm going to ask the question, what did you think of Halloween Ends? Did you love what happened in the movie? Is this movie not for you? Let me know in the comments down below. And like I said, you become a nasty fucking prick, I'm going to make you famous. Trust me, you will regret being a prick. But if you like this video, make sure you also hit that thumbs up and also subscribe for more content. And don't forget to hit that bell notification so you can get notified on all the other videos coming out this month. Anyways, guys, that's it from me. This has been the Ginger Snap Series Month of Horror-WEEN. I'm Stephen Harold. Take care. And remember, everyone's entitled to one good scare.